Hi everyone. Let's talk more about your marketing plan analysis. So this will be your term project and one which you've had a chance to look a bit at in the syllabus, but now I've posted more extensive instructions on it, so let's get going on it. So here they are, the more extensive instructions. In this section you'll also find due dates, and later on you'll find links to where you can submit the assignments, at least the ones that require, say, the product choice and the write-up. The others, of course, are a blog post and responses to the blog post, so those will be found and done through Blackboard through the blog post system. So let's get on to the marketing plan analysis. So what you'll be doing is an analysis for a marketing plan. So a lot of what the book talks about is how to form a marketing plan, but often a very important part of what you can do is analyze it, whether you're analyzing and evaluating one for your own company or formulating an analysis and evaluating another company's marketing plan. So what you'll be doing for your analysis is, in teams of up to 4 people, you'll be analyzing a marketing plan. You'll be talking about what their marketing plan is, their target market, what are their strategies, and so on, listed more in the document itself. That is instructions. And what you'll be doing as well is not only analyzing the current marketing plan, but also collecting both primary and secondary data and using that data to make your recommendations. So if this is how it'll look, what you'll be doing is you'll be doing as an analyst or a marketer would for a CEO or a CMO type person, where your job is to collect all the data, do the due diligence, and present just the important findings, the most important parts to the CMO or CEO. They're depending on you to do your due diligence. And not only do your due diligence, but narrow it down to the most important points. And then again, what you'll be doing is you'll be doing research and then making strategic recommendations based upon what you found and what especially you found based upon your research. And so what you'll be doing is you'll get to pick the product, whether a good or a service. I do recommend more doing a business to consumer product and one that's done in the United States. You could do a B2B or one that's international, but for both, those might be a little harder to find information and to get the data, the research data you need. So if you do have such access, you can talk to me and just double check things, but otherwise I recommend, again, a current product such as a good or service and one that's observed in the United States. So what you'll be doing is, again, writing a project report as if to a company CEO. You'll also be making a presentation, but we'll get into that later. So let's talk more about the type of research you'll be doing. What you'll be doing is you'll be making recommendations, but presumably you don't just do them off the top of your head. You want to know more about the company you're studying as well as the industry you're studying. And so what you'll be required to do is to seek real industry data. And fortunately for all of us, University of Laverne has a wonderful library with lots of different databases at your disposal. Liberty McCoy has a great section just specifically for marketing. And what you'll see is, for example, you can go to the databases, and they have lots of different databases here, and a special marketing section, which I just recently used, and there was lots of great information available, and there's Liberty right there. And so there's lots of data at your disposal, and if you need any advice or help, I'd be happy to help, and especially the librarians, this is what they are experts at. So what you'll be doing with these is, well, grounding your report in data and what types of so what you'll be doing is finding first secondary data such as census or other industry type data. You'll also be doing your own collecting primary data. You'll be doing your own primary research where you'll be formulating the questions or designing an observational study or doing interviews. To that end, each member of the group is required to collect data from 2 customers or potential customers for your chosen product, whether good or service. And these are all very important and something that also shouldn't be put off. Often your recommendations will be based upon the types of information you find. And as a CMO or CEO, they'll be interested in, well, what did you find and what questions and what information and further could you find to better explain or better substantiate your recommendations. And so, as noted, with the help of that research, the hope is to have a better profile of your consumers and your customers. And so a key point here is relevant marketing insights. Again, you've only got 10 pages. You only have a short presentation. You and the CEO and CMO only have so much time, and they are basically anticipating and depending on you to present the most relevant marketing insights and the most relevant marketing information for them so that they have what they need to make their decisions. So, quick example, say you want to talk about Google and you know the 2 founders are Larry and Sergey. Well, it may not be important if you just add them for the sake of adding them. But say if you have founders and the whole point is that they have a competitive advantage and they bring this type of experience that is very relevant for that to understand that marketing plan, then it makes sense to add them. So let's get on to the 4 deliverables. So there are 4 main deliverables that you're expected to submit. First of all, at the end of week 3, June 28th, you'll be expected to make your product choice and submit it to me. I will be opening an assignment tab or assignment link right here. And so you'll be able to submit it there. You'll also be asked to submit your group members in your group. But what if you're only a group of 1? Please still do it. What you'll be doing is going under communicating and groups and submitting your group. And this will basically make it easier for not only you to communicate with each other, but also for me to keep track of the groups and grade, and for other groups, as well as your own, to get the other work done, such as with the blogs and submitting everything. So please, 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 whether you are 1 or 4 persons, you need to sign yourself up as a group. So, the major bulk of the other deliverables are due week 10. First of all, your marketing plan analysis presentations are due on Tuesday, August 11th. So normally our discussion board posts are due Thursday. In this case, it's due Tuesday so that you have a bit of time to actually make sure basically I'm trying to make sure you don't have everything due at once, and also you have time to say incorporate changes for when people might respond to your blog post. And so, returning quickly to the marketing plan analysis presentation, the idea is that you will be submitting a summary for your classmates and myself to read, and that'll summarize your findings and your recommendations. And it's meant to be, again, the most relevant findings, the quick and dirty, just the facts. And, well, in Leo discussion board posts, you'll be doing these blog post responses. Finally, what's the last item that's due on the last day of class, Sunday, August 16th, is the write-up itself. So more information about what should be included in the write-up is included in the instructions, title page, table contents, exact summary, all that good stuff. Something to note is that there is a 10-page limit, and this 10-page limit is just for the main body. Table of contents, title page, exec summary, references, appendices, those don't count to your 10 pages. So again, the idea is that just the important parts, just the most important items. Presumably, you can have lots and lots to talk about, but concentrate on the most important marketing strategies that you want, that are at work and that are most relevant to what you're concentrating on. So here again, specifications, double space, 12-point font, no more than 10 pages. There are, well, effectively, you're expected to cite your work. You're expected to bring in, if you use other types of sources like the census or any other databases, you're expected to cite your work. You can use APA, MLA, ASA, any of them, just as long as you cite your work. Often, your CMO or CEO might be taking a quick look and says, I wonder where they found that, what did they do? And that is what's important about those works cited. They're there for anyone who wants to read it to see what was the original source you were reading and drawing from. So, another important point, proper writing skills are important. It is important to communicate effectively, and it is a part of the grading rubric. Finally, group evaluations. Since this is a team project, well, you'll be working in teams and hopefully sharing in the work. This project's quite large, and a lot of the work can be shared, and you can draw and look to each other for different types of insights and work upon each other's knowledge and experience. However, that also I know means communication and patience is key. What I also know is every once in a while you'll just have issues. So please try to communicate early and often with each other, and if you need to, come speak to each other and then speak to me if needed. In essence, with these group evaluations, your project grade is not just going to be the term project. There is a peer evaluation component that can be up to 10% of your grade, or even more if we're having a lot of situations. Also, I do allow groups to eject members from their group. This is a last resort option and should be done only after an extensive conversation, but again, I do allow this to happen. So, the rest of the instructions basically detail some information sources and more about the rubric. So, I'm looking forward to a lot of great discussions and a lot of great ideas. I always like to look at these, and I always like to draw from them for future classes. And you guys are already doing a great job with your discussion board posts, so I'm very excited to see what you all come up with.